What is going on? What is going on? Sports Game Vision is back in the building with Sports Night. Hope you had a great weekend, having a good day today, and having a great weekend. As you can see here, we got a couple of, a few NBA topics, um, LeBron, PG, and of course, the never ending story of who's the best. And we're talking about the best backcourts. We will, again, I'm your host, Hank, with Sports Game Vision. As you come into the building, please like, share, subscribe, and join the party. And we are going to hit this banner and come right back. Welcome back to the show. As you can see here, the topics we got: why do people hate LeBron, the best backcourts, and of course, PG being the GOAT. Um, First off, I just want to say that I believe this weekend we got the Shakur Stevenson fight, and also there will be a WWE pay per view, Money in the Bank. That should be pretty good. So if you in the boxing and wrestling, make sure you check that out. But should be a pretty quick show. Shout out to my guys at Lakerland, Cole, BA, and Seven. They're not in the building tonight, but we're gonna keep the show going, Sports Night, and start off with this little conversation that I got going on. Why do people hate LeBron? It's even on my channel and the Lakers channel, it seems like there's a lot of LeBron hate going on throughout his whole career, especially since he's joined the Miami Heat and all those different teams. But still, why do people hate him? We got a clip here I want to play. You can hear some of the hate in Skip Bayless's voice. Let's play it real quick.
Kid's got a backbone. Kid's got guts. Kid's got principle and character. His parents did a good job raising him. I think he'll be more calm, cool, and collected in the eye of next year's storm than even his father will be. I think he'll play pretty well alongside his father, but it is going to be circus material because you have a first-time head coach trying to juggle minutes with Bronny and proven veterans who are not going to love it when Bronny gets his 12 minutes, 14 minutes, and 16 minutes, and maybe even some nights 20 minutes a game playing alongside, if not in place of, his father. I think Bronny will be pretty good. I think he'll become a clutch three-point shooter. I've always gotten the feeling that Bronny had a bigger clutch gene than his father does.
Well, you hear that talk right there from Skip Bayless. A sort of the kind of hate you hear from people over the years for LeBron, and I've got a few reasons why I think people hate LeBron, who, in my opinion, is the best player to play. Still my favorite as he embarks on his last few seasons in the league, more than likely. But number one, I think the hate came when he made his leave to go to the Miami Heat. When he finally left, and we know that players usually stick around one team unless the organization traded them. Now this was a time where LeBron took that power into his own hands and he left. It wasn't probably the best way to leave, but he did it nonetheless. And of course, he went to Miami here. We'll switch the graphic here. He went to Miami and chose to go there in 2010. That's where I saw a lot of people really have disdain for him. Not to say that there wasn't some before then, but definitely when he made the decision to go to Miami into that, the decision process he made to team up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and of course, Pat Riley, making the deals and trying to get all those guys together. Actually, he got them together. Went on a 4-year championship run, won 2 of them. That's where I seen the most hate for LeBron start. I think the next thing, and we'll go back to this graphic, or right now we'll go here. Shaq recently in an interview said that he was jealous of LeBron's power, or he was envious, and it was in a playful way, or in a, he just never seen someone in that young have that much say so in an organization. And I think overall people don't like the power LeBron has with on the team that he's on, whatever team he's on. Also in the NBA, he has a lot of say so because he is still the face of the league. And I know a lot of people may not feel like he is, but he definitely is the face of the organization, the face of the league still. I don't know if we're going to have any more faces of the league when he's gone, but right now he is the main guy. The closest to it now is probably Steph. Beyond that, but I think people don't like the power that he has, the decisions he can make on a team, behind the scenes in the NBA. The other reason why I think people don't like LeBron is that he can control the narrative. As you can see here, he's the king in LA. He's very good in changing the narrative on himself and anyone around him. He has a lot of power and say so in not only on his team, but with his media company and his. I know he says he doesn't. He's not the head of it, but Clutch Sports, they can change narratives and make things appear the way they want to appear. I think that not only are players envious of it, the media itself are envious of the power that he has to change narratives, because a lot of times those media outlets want to paint a picture, and LeBron can change that with a heartbeat, with his media companies, his film and TV productions, and also people that he probably has working inside the media industry itself to help, stop some of the narratives that are being cast about him, or people that or his family, or on his team. So I think that players and media, especially the media, alike, really hate that. You just heard Skip Bayless there say that Bronny's going to have more toughness than LeBron, and he, all that. Now, I just said on the last episode that I believe Bronny is very tough minded, and I agree with that. But this take shots at Bron as if he doesn't have any himself, and the fact that he did say his parents raised him, but Bron had a lot to do with helping shape Bronny, and of course Bronny did a lot of work on his own too, because we individually you got to work on yourself as well. But just the shots that media and players take at him, players seeming like they don't want to play on a team with him, especially now in his latter years in Los Angeles. And I think it's crazy. I think for me, these are reasons why you should have love for LeBron. In my opinion, LeBron is a generational talent. Absolutely. Generational talent. LeBron James, one of the greatest players to ever play. If you don't consider him the GOAT, he's definitely up at the top of the list. All these years of playing, over 20 plus years, the amount of points, rebounds, assists, the winning percentage that he's had, the amount of times he's got teams to the playoffs and to the finals. He hasn't missed a lot of, playoffs. And of course, he went to the finals almost half his career. So the greatness he's portrayed in the league, I think that people should definitely give him his flowers while he's here. Not to mention when he's gone, that's probably when he's going to get more of it, because it just seems like a lot of hate while he's playing. But that's definitely a reason why you should definitely have love for him. He's a generational talent. Number two is LeBron has helped with the empowerment movement. Now, I know a lot of people don't like that. They always say the organization and you should stick it out on one team. But there also is a reason to players should have the narrative for themselves. We saw what just happened with PG this year, who we're going to talk about pretty soon. The organization didn't really stick with him, even though they gave up all the assets to get him. And he played more games than Kawhi Leonard, and the team just turned their back on him. It's essentially trading him and getting him out the way. Now you have a narrative to, the power to do things the way you want to. You're not signing big deals. Him and D Wade and Bosh were a part of that, stopping those multi-year long deals, having players options and freedoms of movement, and just putting the power in your court to go where you want to go. I think that's awesome. Of course, if you want to get your bag, get your bag. Everybody can't be LeBron or even PG in that matter of betting on yourself, having that power, being such a great talent that you can't you could, delay or, push the money back a little bit. But obviously if you're getting a big deal, that JT JB money, you got to go ahead and get it and sign it, or even Damian Lillard. But a lot of time, again, I'm speaking of Damian Lillard. He's still searching for that title. That LeBron has got 4 of them, and he obviously, if he didn't make this decision right here, he probably would not have had 4 championships on his resume, because he probably would have stuck it out too long in his hometown. And I'm the one that believes he probably wouldn't have had one had he stayed the first time. So I think that's the reason you should have love for LeBron, as he helped with the player empowerment. Number 3, the King James gang, LeBron James gang, is that he's good with his family. He stays out of trouble and he helps his team. I mean, everybody around him is doing well. Whether you want to talk about Clutch Sports or his media company, I believe was it forgot who is it Randy or whoever works in that department, but he has multiple people working in his media company that he, friends, family. Of course, you can see Savannah's got her podcast now. I'm sure he's got a hand in that. And then, Bronny, sticking around and helping Bronny, making sure he's in the league, which if he's around long enough, I'm sure he's going to try to help Bryce. And as he pushes further on, and if Surrey wants to play in the WNBA, I'm sure he's going to do everything he can to facilitate that movement to get her in the WNBA and wherever school she wants to go to. So I think that, people hate on them too much. We should, definitely respect the greatness while you still have it, because within a certain time, it'll be gone. And of course, right now he signed a 2-year deal. He'll maybe stay 3 if he wants to, but the time is running out. And I think that a lot of hate that he's getting should be, dismissed. Get rid of it. It's too much. Of course, you could be criticized, but I think there's a lot of hate going on as well. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think the hate is valid, or do you think that he gets a little bit too much of it? I think that he gets a lot instead of a lot more praise that probably he does deserve. But we're going to move on here. We're going to talk a little bit about the free agent that we just talked about a few seconds ago, Paul George. That's right. He made the big decision. We talked about it before. He's going to Philly, signed that big contract to go there and play with Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. But we're going to play a clip of him talking about, well, first, the segment is about him being the best player, considered the GOAT. We just talked about one of the GOATs in LeBron, but some players and alike, especially the young players, that consider Paul George the GOAT. And we're going to play a quick clip of this right here, and then we'll come right back.
It was a crazy moment playing against him, and as we're playing, he's like in awe. When I make a shot, he like, damn. Right. I haven't had that moment while I'm playing someone being in awe. I make a shot and I can see him on the bench and he like
how you was when you was looking at Kobe.
It's a cool moment.
When you get up there and you're playing these dudes, like obviously we're not going to fanboy out, but it's just like these are people that like you looked up to, and like now you're bumping with him. You know what I mean? And you're out there playing defense and hitting shots. Just like it's one of those moments. It's dope to see you kind of get your flowers in a day and age where people hate on Steph and KD and Bron all the time. Carmelo's son came out as a lot of these kids have said it. When I look at the comments, they're surprised. I'm like, no, PG's a killer. Your game is what this newer game is. Obviously, you bring IQ with it. A lot of these young motherfuckers just want to do all this, but you bring a high IQ with it. When you hear that amongst the greatest to ever play this game, we're kind of in this era right now. Like, how does that make you feel?
It's a blessing. It could be Bron. It could be KD. All of these guys that they could really be like, man, these are my GOATs.
Not you. For people to like come out and say, like, you're theirs, I think that's dope because I'm a fan of your game.
Appreciate you.
And as you can see, Paul George, especially this newer generation, this young generation, they got him as the all-time great. And they're not, taking no for an answer, trying to hear any of the people give them backlash for it. Carmelo's son got him up there. The guy from Charlotte, what's his name, put him up there as his GOAT. And not just to mention Paul George, but even Kevin Durant has got quite a few players going around the league and saying that that's their GOAT of all time. And I think it's a very good thing to have that narrative being pushed you should like who you like. It's not going to always be who the media puts on top. When you grow up, again, my guy growing up is Isaiah. Still to this day, I still got love for Isaiah Thomas, bad boy Pistons. But you should be able to have the ability to choose who you want to. And I say all that to say that even with the Lakers right now, you got Dalton Connect chose his KD as his GOAT. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it because again, you should be able to push the narrative that you want to push. You got to tell the truth about people that influence you in your game. And I think it's kind of cool to be able to push other people up front because there's a lot of great players that never get recognition as the best player of all time or very good or very great. Sometimes they get pushed under the rug because they don't get a chance to make it to the finals. They don't win MVPs and maybe they're not the first in scoring or anything like that, but their game is very good and very great and a lot of times even innovative. But again, the media doesn't always push those players forward. So to be able to see someone like Paul George be able to get it, KD gets his love and his flowers, but Paul George, someone like him, he wouldn't necessarily get it without these young guys coming in and saying, "Hey, that's the guy right there." And all of them want to play like him. He's with a 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" prototype, being able to handle the rock, get to the rim, play good defense. And I think that a lot of these young guys want to mimic that. But especially I think on the offensive end, hopefully they pick up the defensive end as well, but definitely on the offensive end, they want to be like them. But yeah, shout out to Paul George. He got that big bag. He just left the Clippers and we see what they did with him and kind of just let him fall by the wayside, but he's got that big bag now. And I think that he's going to have a great career in Philly, the rest of his career, as long as him and Embiid can stay healthy. I think it's going to be a great run for him. But again, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section. Paul George and any other player that you think is a GOAT beyond, the usual suspects, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe. You want to put KD in there, Steph. Who's some other guys that you would put on your GOAT list? Let me know in the comment section. Now, as we talk about greatest of all time, we're going to talk about the best backcourts of all time. I'm going to start with just who I feel is the best. Of course, you're going to probably have something different in your opinion, but I'm going to go with one. This is the reason why I'm doing this thing right here. Them, Detroit Pistons. It seems like as history moves on, here, especially my guys they over there, front offices of the NBA right now. But they were so dynamic in that backcourt. Won 2 championships, 3 and went to 3 together. And of course, Joe brought another championship to the city when he was in the front office of the Pistons in that 04 team. One of the greatest of all time. They're my favorite. But there's one duo that's probably, I'm sure, on top of all that. It's going to be on everybody's list. And it's these two right here, Clay and Steph. 4 championships, changed the game. We know that Clay just left and moved on, but these two right here remind me of the two backcourt players I just mentioned. Their trajectory surpassed them as they went to 6 finals together, a whole bunch of scoring records, especially with Clay and Steph having the all-time 3-point record. They're not done yet. They still got life on the legs. So they're going to accumulate more records before they're gone. And possibly, maybe one of them can win another championship. It won't be together. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. But this is probably the greatest duo. But they're definitely on the list. I'm going to go with another duo that I don't hear a lot about as the greatest backcourt of all time is Magic Johnson and Byron Scott. I believe they got 3 championships together. Of course, Magic has 5 total. That Showtime Lakers team was amazing, and these two together, not to mention with Coop on the squad as well, they were very dangerous and formidable. And again, I don't really hear them say the backcourt duo. And again, I don't even hear Magic. To me, he should be in that GOAT discussion as well. The amount of success he had in a short amount of time in the league. He went to 8 finals or so, 8 or 9 finals. won 5 of them, and he had his team at the top all the time. But this team here, these two backcourt, worked well together. I remember watching them play as a kid, and they definitely deserve to be at the top of my list at least, and they should be on everybody else's. But also, like I said, I just mentioned Coop. I forgot about the Pistons too. Let me put that back. They forgot about 007. We don't hear about him too much either. He's also in the backcourt. Vinnie Johnson, Joe Dumars, Vinnie Johnson, and Isaiah Thomas. Forgot about that trio right there, but part of that backcourt assembly as well. Wanted to mention that since we were talking about the Lakers and their trio, Byron Scott, Magic Johnson, Michael Coop. So let's go on to the next backcourt that I want to show love to, and that is Manu and Tony Parker. Parker and Ginobili, one of the great duos and honestly international, if you want to think about it. Their backcourt, they won 4 championships together over there in San Antonio. Definitely, they were paired together really well, and one of the greats to ever do it. They helped Timmy get championships. Of course, Timmy is a big reason they were able to do it, but them two together were a big part of it. Slashing and scoring. And Ginobili, I remember James Harden's game was patterned after him at first. Of course, he switched it up a little bit, but yeah, a lot of people play like Ginobili and wanted to play like him. And of course, Parker with their floater and them assists. They were very dangerous. And of course, they got 4 championships out of it. They're definitely on the top of my list as far as top point guards, backcourts in the game. The next one I had to put on my list, of course, is you can't leave it out without putting Michael Jordan on that list. And you got Ron Harper. Of course, I feel like Jordan is the A side on this, but definitely a great backcourt. Defensively, Ron Harper at this point can still do what he wanted to do on the scoring end. But of course, you got Jordan over there to take most of the pressure off of you. But those two defensively, and of course, with all those championships they won together, it's hard to leave them off the backcourt list of the greatest of all time. Now, I'm missing quite a few. On the list, there's a lot, backcourts I did not see. But it was Gail Goodrich and Jerry West. And there's some backcourts on there that honorable mentions: Jeff Hornacek, John Stockton, CJ McCollum and Dane Lillard. So quite a few. With Kyrie and Luka, I can't put them on there yet. They got to have a few more years for me to put them on there. But there's quite a few that I took off or I didn't put on there that probably deserve. I'm sure there's more that you guys can put in the comment section and say, hey, they should be on there as well. There's one that need to be on there for me too, is I'm a homer. These two right here, they broke them up a little early, but they had enough years together. They are one of the best backcourts, and definitely, to me, in my opinion, to play, and especially in the era they were in. Got the championship in 04 and went back-to-back in 05. Rip stayed the longest, and Chauncey ended up retiring a Piston, came back. But yeah, I kind of wish they didn't break it up, but definitely deserve to be on the all-time list, in my opinion. They got a championship, and all the backcourts I just mentioned on there have championships. There's other great ones that don't have championships. I mentioned a couple of them already, but I think you got to put the champions first, and then you can put everyone else behind it. Jeff Hornacek and John Stockton didn't win the championship. They got there, didn't win. So a lot of other backcourts are going to be on there. So definitely laying them in the comment section if you got them. But shout out to all the ones I just mentioned: Golden State, Clay and Steph, the Pistons, Bad Boy Pistons, Isaiah Joe. You got the Lake Show, Byron Scott, Magic Johnson, and of course you got Parker and Ginobili, the Spurs, and you got the Bulls with Jordan and Ron Harper. You might want to put BJ Armstrong on there if you want to too as well. Well, that's the end of that segment there. Again, we're going to move on. Still talking a little bit about basketball here. Too early championship. So far, we know the free agency happened, and we're going to check out who I think should be the champion just off the move so far. Too early. No, it's you can't pick them right now, but I'm going to pick them anyway. Who are just off the deals and transactions and trades and free agent pickups and drafts that have been done. Number one, I'm gonna go with the champion, the Boston Celtics. You got to go with the Celtics. They are definitely in a position to do it again next year. Looks like everything's going to be run back, and then the rumor mill has it that Jeff Bezos might buy the team. That means they're going to have deep pockets to continue to push forward in the future. You got a young core still, and then they can make other moves. And if they do have to do luxury cap things, if you got an owner like Jeff Bezos as your owner, it's not going to be a big deal. He's got big pockets, and it'll be the biggest in the league if he gets the team. So I'm definitely putting Boston up there. Number two, and this is all in the East right now, I'm going to put the New York Knicks. The moves that they made the move they made to bring Mikal Bridges over, and then we're going to get Julius Randle back. They lost Harkenstein, but they still got Mitchell, and then you've got, well, yeah, that's basically you got, all the guys are going to be healthy. So bringing Mikal in to have that 4-piece Villanova championship team on the New York Knicks. And then, of course, you're bringing your squad back with Randall and Mitchell Robinson. I think this team can be very formidable to get to the NBA Finals. Again, have to stay healthy, but I do think they have a great shot at it this year. Definitely getting to the conference finals with ease this year. The third team that I got in this, again, on the Eastern Conference is the Philadelphia 76ers. It's going to be great to see what happens with them this year. Again, this is another team that has to stay healthy, but they signed, and we're going to pull his picture back up, Paul George, to this big money contract. Having him, Embiid, Maxey, they're going to be a great team this year. As long as they can stay healthy, I think they're going to ring the bell. They did lose, I believe, Batum, but yeah, they're going to be good. Just having those three, they're going to mix and match some more guys. They got my guy Andre Drummond on the team now, and Philly was the team that I had going to the finals early on last year until Embiid got hurt, and I do believe that he will push them forward if he can stay healthy throughout the whole year, and of course show up even more in the playoffs. And he did pretty good, while he played hurt this year, but during the playoffs. But he has to do it through all 4 rounds. So it's up to him, PG. But I do think they have the talent to get there. Just on paper right now, 2 early predictions. I think on the East side, those guys definitely can do it. Now we're going to go West, and then I'm going to go with the defending Western Conference champion, and that is the Dallas Mavericks. I think with getting Klay Thompson, that sharpshooter on the team, I think that makes a big difference. Spacing, they weren't shooting well in the finals, and I know they're going to make even more moves as the season goes forth and this offseason goes forth. I think they're a team that could definitely get back to the finals on the West side. My number 2 team for the West Coast would be the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards and those guys shocked everyone last year. I do think with their draft pick that they chose, he's going to help out a lot. And it just seems as if they're on the trajectory to be that team of the future. I was pushing for them to get to the Western Conference Finals this year, but they didn't have the greatest, series against those Mavericks. But I do think they're going to show up this year and have a great shot to get to the finals. That's one of the teams that I think will still do it. On my final team so far, again, 2 early finals predictions. I've got the Denver Nuggets. You still can't write them off. They're a year or so removed from a championship. They still have a great core. I know they lost some pieces. They even lost another piece this year with KCP, but they were loaded with talent, and I do believe that they're going to add to it. They're trying to get Russell Westbrook, and I'm sure they're going to add some more pieces. to solidify that bench and the starting core, but I still think they have enough to fight for the Western Conference Finals and get to the finals as well. It's all about matchups, but I still think they have enough, even with losing all the pieces that they lost. So yeah, that's who I got right now. Top picks for me, again, you're gonna put Boston back up there, got to put Dallas back up there, but my second picks for me would be New York and then Minnesota. And yeah, it's going to be a great offseason to see where all these pieces fall to, how all these trades formulate, and see where teams will be during the offseason. So yeah, we got to see what the Lakers going to do. We got to see what just a few other teams are going to do. There's a lot of other teams out there. Of course, we see Memphis is still in the West. What other moves are they going to make? They bring John Morant back. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what is it? Miami does in the East. Yeah, so it's a lot of movement that still needs to be done, but definitely those are my 2 early picks, and for teams that can get to the finals and make a case for being the best teams of their conference. But that's all I got for you guys. Let me know in the comment section about who you got for 2 early finals predictions, who you got as your best backcourt. Also, who is your GOAT? Doesn't have to be the official GOATs of all time that's listed all the time. And then, why do people hate LeBron? Can you give him a little bit more love before he's out of here and goes on to ownership and whatever else he's going to do after this, after he plays? I think there's a little bit too much hate and narrative on that. But again, guys, that's all I got for today. Shout out to the Lakerland family, BA code 7 Mitchell, and go subscribe to the channel, Lakerland. And also, as you're on the page right now on this channel, make sure that you hit all those buttons and support the channel. We appreciate it a lot. And again, you can reach out to the channel on these graphic here. I'm on all social media. Just type in Sports Game Vision or SGV Talks. And again, Sports Night, we are out. Peace.